Hello ladies and gentlemen, there's a recipe on the screen for Salmon En Croute. Very French, very fancy, that's what it looks like. And I'm going to show you how to make it now. Hello, welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. I'm going to make Salmon En Croute using up this wonderful puff pastry, what I did make in my last video, and I'm going to just crack on with it now. Hope you really enjoy this recipe. Right, so you can see the ingredients lined up there on the board. Very quickly, what is en croute? En croute, basically anything baked in pastry, traditionally either a short crust pastry or a pie dough, or puff pastry, which is now more popular. It can be built up in layers inside, and that's about it really. Salmon en croute, I think, is probably the most well known. A very famous one would be beef Wellington. We'll tackle that one day when I'm brave enough. First of all, for this then, I want to remove the skin, so no need to scale it. To remove the skin from the fish, basically you want to separate the flesh from the skin. It sounds obvious. Just try to get a purchase. Once you've got hold of it with your hand, it's quite easy, but just keep that knife the whole time angled ever so slightly downwards. Not too far downwards, you'll just cut through the skin. And there we go, I'm very happy with that, check that. No skin left over, no pin bones, and just remove that little bit of fatty stuff from the flank. Leave that in the fridge. Time to wash the spinach. So I gave that a nice swill around in the sink there, and then drain that for a few minutes, and then we're going to wilt that spinach. So a nice large pan, bit of olive oil. Yes, the spinach is wet, but we're going to cook this to wilt it and remove the water anyway, so don't worry about that. No need to season at this stage either, we're going to season it later. Literally 1 to 2 minutes is more than enough. There we go, I'm happy with that. I don't want to keep going, I don't want to completely remove all the nutrients from it. There, that's the point, get that off the heat. Time to drain it, and then to force out as much of the water as possible, using my conical strainer, which is nice and tough. You can use a sieve. If you watch my butter video, you'll see what happens if you press too hard with a sieve. You then have a handleless sieve. So that's why I like that thing. It's good for these sort of jobs. Another stage is trying to get the water out, some kitchen paper, and get that in the fridge. Right, let's make the rest of the filling. So those are capers, and those are wonderful things. Preserved lemons, what I also did make once upon a time, but I didn't do a video. I will do the next time I need them. Also known as confit of lemon. If you can't find those, just use some bit of lemon zest, it's fine, or you don't have to use that at all. It's just another layer of flavour, but they're really nice. It's got a lovely salty edge to them. Finally chop that up after you've removed the pith, because the pith is just a little bit too bitter. And in the bowl, cream cheese. Nice full fat cream cheese, obviously. This is Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons, we don't do low fat really, sorry about that. Nutmeg, because nutmeg and spinach, it just goes together beautifully. I'm seasoning now, but I'm seasoning it later as well. As long as at the end you're happy with it, it's fine. That spinach has had time to cool down as well, which is also important. No chance of it discolouring anymore. Looks like we've got all the water out. I'm just going to give it a really, really tough squeeze here. Do I get anything out? Yeah, a couple of little drops, but I'm happy with that. Excess water inside the pastry is a no-no. That's going to ruin it. Okay, that's why we're taking the effort to get that nice and dry. Get that thoroughly mixed. Have another taste, and correct the seasoning. And that seasoning is just to your palate. No right or wrong here. That's it. The filling is done. So we're going to roll out this puff pastry that I made. I thought, what a shame to just make a video for puff pastry. I did a lovely onion tart with it, by the way, but then to not use it again. So I thought, no, quickly, let's get on with it. I've still got some. That's going to go in the freezer, and that will come out again one day soon, I hope, when I can think of something else to do with it. Rolling this out, into a square-ish rectangular shape, because that's the shape of the fish that we're going to put inside it. The thickness is probably more important than anything here, so I've gone to about 4mm. Sorry, I haven't converted that into inches. Probably like 1/4 of an inch, maybe, something like that. So don't go right to the edge, but don't go in the middle. I've left a border of a few centimetres. I'd seasoned one side of the fish already, put that down, season the other side. The rest of the filling on top. I would say I've probably gone a little bit too generous with the filling, so feel free to cut that back by a little bit, 10-20%. You'll be fine. This is why we didn't put it in the middle, because we've got to stretch that bit of pastry and get it to meet the other side. A bit like a big Cornish pasty, really. Take time here, be gentle but firm. Try to push out the air pockets and make sure you've got a really tight seal. Then trim off the excess. Now, I'd probably gone a little bit too close there. I was really worried actually that the filling was going to come out. As I pressed there, a little bit does, and I was thinking, oh, this might not be one of the videos that makes it to the channel, but you're watching this, it was okay. But save yourself the stress. Give yourself at least a good centimetre or even an inch or so of a border. Give that a nice crimp because it looks nice, and then very, very gingerly get this thing onto a lined baking tray with some baking parchment. Going for two little devices there to get it on there, and yeah, we made it. I'm brushing this with egg wash twice. Once now, I'm going to pop that in the fridge to let that set on a little bit, 10 minutes or so, and then it's going to come out and we're going to give it another brush before it goes in the oven. I want it to look really luxurious when it's done. And this is purely decoration. Traditionally, if you use a knife, turn it, invert it so you've got the sharp end sticking upwards, because you don't want to cut through this, you just want to score the outside. But you can do little crosshatch, little patterns. You can cut pieces of the other pastry if you've got little fish cutters or something. But I was happy with that. There's my oven. Yep, needs a clean. So fairly hot oven. That was after 15 minutes. Give it a turn. Back in. And that is it. That is ready. Let it rest though. So while I was resting, I made the butter sauce that you're going to see in a minute to go with this. But I would say give that at least 5 minutes just to calm down a minute before you start cutting into it. Very, very nice. Quite rich and luxurious. Like I said, I think a little bit too much on the cream cheese. I will just cut that down a bit. And I'm going to plate it up here with the beurre blanc or butter sauce with some dill in it. It's a very rich dish, so you probably don't need that butter sauce. I just thought it would showcase it nicely, and for some weird reason I thought I'd put a sprig of dill on the side. I don't know why I do things like that sometimes. Didn't help at all. And so how does it taste? Wait, what did you think? It tastes lovely. It's salmon with cream cheese, spinach and puff pastry and dill. What's not to love? And that's it really. This one's over. Thank you very much for watching, and again everyone that subscribed recently, I am so grateful for it. And yeah, hope you really enjoy the stuff, and I will be making another video very, very soon because it's going to be the butter sauce that goes with this. So I'll see you then. Anyway, bye for now.